Please state your name for the record. Robert Gill. Mr. Gill, referring to 15 7th Avenue, what is the rental market value of your apartment that you reside in at 15 7th Avenue? Do you know? My last rent was $2,500 a month. That's for your apartment, is it? Yes, sir. In your 2002 tax return, did you count the rental value of your apartment there as rent or not? No. Did you take your lost rent as a tax deduction? No. Defendant's counsel, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. What do you mean by the lost rent? The court, objection sustained. Clarify it. Did you take the rent that wasn't paid for that apartment as a tax deduction? As a personal deduction? Right. I don't understand the question. How was it treated if you didn't take it as a tax deduction? What do you mean? If you didn't take it as a tax deduction, how did you treat your lost income, your lost rent income? I didn't. There is no way you can treat it. You stated in your deposition, the last one on April 23rd, that you bought 15 7th Avenue with inheritance money. Is that correct? Correct. What type of inheritance was it? Was it a properly sold or was it securities? Do you remember? It was selling securities. Was it an inheritance that you received from the sale of the building in Queens? Do you know? I don't understand the question. Was it an inheritance from your dad? Right. Were there any buildings that you inherited from him that you paid for? Defendant's counsel, let me make sure for the record, was title passed from his father's estate to Mr. Gill with respect to any buildings in Queens? Is that your question? Plaintiff's counsel, that's my question. I will ask that and I will rephrase it. Defendant's counsel, just so the record is clear. Plaintiff's counsel, I fully and totally understand. If you want to answer that, he asked, you may do so. No. So my second question would be then, while your father was living, was there any building in Queens that you sold for him? Yes. Was there any of the money from the building in Queens invested in 15 7th Avenue? Yes, it was a rollover. Just to back up so that I'm clear, it wasn't just securities in the inheritance that bought 15 7th Avenue. It was also money from the building in Queens that you sold for your father. Is that right or not? This is very convoluted. Defendant's counsel, I'm going to object to the question because it's compound. The court, it's compound. I think you are skipping a step. Perhaps if you asked him what happened to the proceeds from the sale of the Queens building, it would be better. Mr. Gilbert, who bought 5 Fifth Avenue? My father. So you did not buy it, Mr. Gill? I held the power of attorney, but my father owned title to 15 7th Avenue, as far as I am recollecting, sir. Was it under the name of Gilwood Realty when you bought it? No. At that time, did anybody pay for it? No. I don't think so. I did ask this in the last deposition, but I think it's important to reiterate it now. Do you know what time Gilwood Realty came into being? I don't know yet. You will let me know when you find out? Yes, I will do that. At what time did title pass to you for 15 7th Avenue? February 27th, 2001. Did it just pass to you alone? Yes. Your brother wasn't involved in it? Well, he signed it over to me. I understand. So how could he sign it over to you if the title was passing right from your father? Defendant's counsel, I object to the question. The court sustained. Clear it up. How did this come about? As executive of the will, my brother and my father signed over the building to me. That was pretty much right after your dad passed on, right? That was 9 months after. I have forgotten. When did your dad pass on? May 2nd, 2001. February 27th, 2002 is when I bought the building from the estate. Does your brother have any interest in 15 7th presently, to your best recollection? No. Why did he loan you money for 15 7th Avenue if you had just inherited it? Defendant's counsel, I object to the question in terms of what reasons he had. The court, I will let him answer it in terms of the purpose of the loan. Obviously, the witness cannot talk about what his motives or reasons were. Let me ask you this. Did Mr. Drew loan you money for the purchase of 15 7th Avenue? Yes. Why did Mr. Drew loan you money if you had just inherited the property in pass-through property to you? I don't know. I asked him and he said yes, he would help me finance it. I don't know why. I asked and he said sure. I am very confused because you stated that title passed to you through inheritance. Your father owned the building. If it passed to you through inheritance, why would you need money from Mr. Drew? There is really a mortgage on the property. Did Mr. Drew know that you had inherited the building? Sure. Is that
A little too fast.
too fast? It was,